The English vowel sound I is relatively uncommon among the world's languages. Only about 10 to 20% of languages tend to have this sound. For example, Spanish doesn't have it. A lot of Spanish speakers, when they're trying to say the I sound, will instead produce the E sound. For example, if they're trying to say the word ship, as in a boat that goes in the water, they might say sheep instead, which is an animal from which you get wool. So as you can see, if you change the vowel sound, you could inadvertently completely change the meaning of the word, completely change the word you're saying, and lead to confusion for the listener in the process. In today's video, we are going to do 4 things. We're going to learn a 4-step process to produce the perfect I sound. We are going to learn about some length variations within the I sound that make a pretty big difference. And we are going to take 2 challenges to train our ears to build that mental model of the perfect I sound so that you can match that perfect model when you are producing it in your spoken English. And as always, I've created a free PDF for you with lots and lots of extra practice words, but I would urge you to watch the entire video first before you get to the PDF. That way you can get the most out of it. Hello, language lovers and language learners and intellectually curious folks everywhere. My name is Bakul Soman and welcome back to my channel. If you find my videos interesting and helpful, please make sure you take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Doing 1 or more of these things informs the YouTube algorithm that my video is worth suggesting to others. So make sure you take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started. If you watched my vowel masterclass video, you know that a vowel is characterized by 4 things: tongue height, tongue advancement, tension, and lip rounding. For the I sound, our tongue height is high, our tongue advancement is front, it's forward in the mouth, it is not a tense sound, and it is not a rounded sound. If you remember our vowel quadrilateral, the I sound is right here. High front, lax, unrounded. So now let us practice making this sound. We're actually going to use the E sound to get to the I sound. Follow these 4 steps for a perfect I sound. Put the back of your hand right below the chin. Now I want you to say the E sound. E. As you say the sound, you will notice that there is tension along the base of your jaw and you can feel it on the back of your hand, okay? E. It's like the base of your jaw is pushing down into the back of your hand. E. That's because E is a tense sound and you're feeling that tension, okay? So you're going to keep saying that sound, and steps 3 and 4 are happening simultaneously. So imagine the E sound is a straw coming out of your mouth, all right? You have your hand below, you're making your E sound, E, and then visualize making a diagonal cut into that straw, okay? So it really helps, trust me. So you have your straw, you have your E sound, E, a diagonal cut. Why a diagonal cut? Because when you say the I sound, what you're actually doing is you're taking the bulk of your tongue and moving it a little farther back in your mouth. It's kind of approaching the center of your mouth, okay? So that diagonal cut helps you visualize that there's that slight tongue movement toward the center of your mouth, okay? And simultaneously, as you're making that cut and moving that tongue back toward the center of your mouth, you are releasing the tension, okay? So let's see if we can put that together. E, I, I, I. So you're moving your tongue back and releasing tension at the same time. E, I, I, I. And you will notice that release of tension. You don't feel it along the back of your hand anymore. The I sound is often referred to as the short I sound. And I find it very misleading, and therefore I never use that nomenclature for it. It's misleading because it's not really the short version of any sound. It is qualitatively its own sound in terms of tongue placement, tension, rounding, advancement. All right? The second reason why it is misleading is because the I sound by itself varies in length. And the length is determined by what comes after the I sound. Okay? So I'm going to say two words. They both have the I sound, but listen to the length of the word. Okay? I actually tried doing this using a stopwatch on my phone, and it's quite obvious that one is a lot longer than the other. And the lengthening is happening because that I sound is being lengthened in one case and kept really short and quick in another. Okay, so here are the two words. Hit, hid. Hit, hid. Which one sounds longer to you? Hid. What's the difference? Why is hit shorter than hid? When the I is followed by an unvoiced consonant, we keep it very short and very flat. When, on the other hand, it is followed by a voiced consonant, it has a little arc to it. It goes up in pitch and then it comes back down. Okay? So, hit, t, unvoiced consonant, flat, hit, quick. Hid, voiced consonant, d, it has that arc to it. Hid. So, I. All right? It's the same sound, but it sounds a little different, right? Depending on what comes after it. This happens very often in English. It's called co-articulation, and vowels and even sometimes the way certain consonants are said changes a little bit depending on the phonetic context that they find themselves in. So when the I is followed by a voiced consonant and it is in a stressed syllable, then that length stretches out. It is longer, okay? Hid. We don't really say hid. It sounds odd. We say hit, but we don't say hid. We say hid, all right? We stretch it out. These little nuances really do make a big difference in how you sound. I'm going to give you some more examples of what we call minimal pair words, words in which the only difference is one sound, okay? And in these sounds, the only difference is the consonant that comes after the I. In one case, it's going to be voiced. In another case, it's going to be unvoiced, or rather, unvoiced first and voiced second. Okay, so here are some words. Listen to the difference in the length of these two words. Grit, short, quick, flat. Grid has that arch. Grit, grid. Mit, mid, like mid-century. Bit, bid. Kit, kid. All right, so pretty distinct difference to my ears, at least, in terms of the length. Now let's move on to some ear training. All right, so our first challenge is going to be just listening for the I sound. So I'm going to say certain vowel sounds. I'll say each sound 3 times, and your job is to decide whether that was the I or not the I. Okay, and remember, sometimes the I might sound like that arched version. All right, so you're listening for both. And you're not going to have any visuals. You're just going to be listening. Here we go. Eh, 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 ah, 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 eh, 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 ah, 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 eh, 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 ah, ah, ah. How did you do? I hope you were able to consistently pick out the I sound, whether it's the shorter flat version or the slightly arched version, consistently, okay? If you weren't able to do that, I would recommend go back, listen to it a few more times until you feel very confident you have that strong mental model in your head. Okay, let's go straight on to challenge number 2. In this challenge, you're now listening to words, okay? We will stick to one syllable words to make it simple. There will be only that vowel sound in it. but it won't be in a sentence, because when a word is in a sentence, you have a lot of context clues to try and figure out what that word is. So you're going to listen to the word in isolation. Listen carefully, because I'm only going to say the word one time, okay? And as an added bonus, you are welcome to try and say the word right after I say it to practice producing a lot of these different vowel sounds. So you're trying to match how I produce the word. Okay, it's a little bit of a foreshadowing of the shadowing technique, which I will cover in a later video. Here we go. Hit, height, wind, heat, hill, drink, beat, pig, bean, twig. How did you do on that one? Again, I hope that you were not only able to hear the sounds, but you were able to say them perfectly using some of those techniques that we talked about earlier in the video. And I hope you heard the length distinction in words like hit versus twig. Okay, so now you are ready for the PDF. All right, there are lots of 1 syllable, 2 syllable, and 3 or more syllable words in there for you to practice. As always, for the multisyllabic words, which has multiple vowels in it, obviously, the vowel that is produced with the I sound is going to be indicated in red. I do want to point out that there are many words in which the I can also be produced as a schwa, and actually very often it is produced as a schwa in spoken language, just because it is an easier, quicker sound. It's always an unstressed syllables, right? So this change happens in unstressed syllables, not in stressed syllables, and it just makes the word flow easier. So a lot of native speakers will often tend to use the schwa instead of the I in unstressed syllables. Like, for example, one of the words in the PDF is invisible, okay? So in that third syllable, z, all right? You could say invisible, or you could say invisible. And often it is produced invisible, invisible. So you're using the schwa instead of the I sound, okay? So I just want you to be aware of that. You can say either, it doesn't really matter. It's a very tiny, minute difference in terms of how it sounds, but it's not going to affect your intelligibility one bit. So don't worry about that. That is it for this video. We talked about articulate replacement for the perfect I sound. We talked about that difference in length based on what comes after. And we did a lot of listening at the vowel level and at the word level to really build that strong mental model. And of course, I'm leaving you with that PDF so you can keep on practicing and really perfect that I sound. As I said earlier, if you like my videos, if you find them interesting, if you find them helpful, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe, because we all have to please the algorithm gods, and that is one way you can help me. All right? Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time.